Hey guys, it's Nick here. Happy, I don't know if I say happy, but it's Wednesday, y'all. It's hump day. And I wanted to come on here. Y'all see my boxes. I got to get these boxes out of here. I got boxes everywhere from picking up stuff, delivering stuff, or whatever for our business. But don't mind the stuff behind me. I want to talk to y'all today about spiritual warfare and winning the battle. I just shared a post. I removed it. I was struggling this morning, y'all, with just everything that's going on. It's not just one thing. It's like a compounded effect, right? Of so many different layers of things that we are coming face to face with. And it's not just about a race thing, it's about an algorithm thing too, right? Because if you open up one thing, it's going to show what you're giving your time and attention to, and it's going to keep feeding you more of that topic, which eventually will prey into your emotions, right? So you have to be very, very careful of clickbait, because when you click on certain things, it's going to keep revealing more and more stuff in that same genre to you. If you click on country music right now, you'll find more country music artists. If you click on sewing machines, you're going to find more sewing machines popping up, right? So when it comes down to social media, a lot of this stuff is, it really does play into our psyche because of algorithms. But I will say overall, there is a heaviness because there's a lot going on in the world that we're exposed to. Doesn't mean it hasn't always been this way. It just means that we're more exposed to it now because of social media. And so this morning I was having a little bit of a meltdown. Like I couldn't unsee what they did to the young lady, right? I couldn't unsee it. And when I saw it and I saw how quickly everything happened, I had a flashback of how we grew up. That was normal, where kids try to come to your house after school and do some shenanigans. Like, that's normal, everyday life, right? And to see what took place from, whatever happened, it just hit me because I'm like, Lord, we grew up this way. Like South Central LA, hey, you got stuff going on all the time. You got gangs and conflict of colors and all these different things, or you just have rowdy kids that come together from different neighborhoods who choose that they want to battle. And so different things happen. So just the psyche that it played on me to look at how unequipped people are in positions of power and how they're handling things with our babies, right? These are our children. These are our little brown babies that are being placed in the hands of grown people who have no emotional intelligence, and they're given weapons and actually able to make fast action decisions and be protected for them, right? Where a cop had the nerve after that happened to go tell the neighbors Blue Lives Matter as if they won a battle, right? So I got pissed when I saw that. I was pissed. I was angry. I was frustrated. I was mad. I was crying. And I was just like, God, I don't understand how we are seeing this in broad daylight. I don't even understand why there had to be a case over George Floyd when the whole world witnessed the murder, right? The whole world witnessed it. And we got to have a freaking trial for if he killed that man or not, right? I was just really mad and going back and forth in prayer and stuff like that. And so today I got to the gym and I couldn't work out. I didn't want to be in the gym in a room. Like even just now, I just went into a dance class. It was really fun, but I just started crying. Like I couldn't function, right? I was just like, God, I just need to pull away from all of this stuff and I just need to process, right? So I just began to pray. One of the things that I know, right? Like this is the reason why your spiritual connection is so important. A lot of people, I get it about slavery and Christianity and all of that stuff, but it's not about just a religion. It is about a spiritual divine connection for your own sanity. For your own sanity. If you cannot connect with God in a way to protect you outside of yourself, because we cannot manage our emotions, right? We're human beings. As much as you want to try to protect yourself from, we can go through all the self-care and the meditation and all of that. But at some point in time, you need a higher, you gotta have higher guidance. Like I can't. I'm not gonna speak for nobody else. I can't. But I just sat in the sauna today and I was just praying. I was like, God, I don't know how much more of this we can handle witnessing. Like I just, my conversations with my kids is so scary because I live in a neighborhood with a bunch of ignorant bigots that live in my community. We have a Facebook group, and I got into it with some of the people this weekend because whenever something happens in our community, they start talking about they start looking at the little black kids in the neighborhood. They talk about this is a ghetto, and this is, they use thug and ghetto a lot, in our chat. So I kind of went off this weekend and I was like, listen, as a mom of a little brown boy who is almost my height at 9 years old, we want to ask that y'all respect these kids and don't prejudge when anything goes down. Like I just put it out there, and it just became like this feuding back and forth about here you go with race baiting, right? So it's a lot of racial tension and a lot of idiots in the world, just period, point blank. It's a lot of bigotry, a lot of idiots, a lot of racist bastards that's in the world today, period, point blank. They are everywhere, right? They're teaching your kids in school. They're the ones that you're doing business with. I mean, they're everywhere. So I just had this real frustration because, it's like our kids it's like they can't be kids, right? They can't be kids. It's, I had to tell my son he can't go to the basketball court alone anymore, right? Because it's a lot of things happening. And the first thing when something goes down in our neighborhood, they look at what black kids were on the basketball court, what black kids was hanging out over there. But I was just praying and I was like, God, why? Like, how much longer can we keep dealing with these things? How much more do we have to take? How much more do we have to mourn? How much more do we have to, deal with? Just all these different things. And so one of the things that God began to show me is, number one, like these things are always, they've been here since the beginning of time. It may look intense in America because America is crazy, right? America has no type of governing whatsoever over people in authoritative positions. And we have a really bad history, but it has been on the earth since the beginning of time, right? There's always been this level of, I mean, even if you look at the story of Jesus, I watched The Passion of Christ last weekend and how they handle him. They called him a criminal. They were talking about kill him, murder him, get rid of him, right? Like they did that back then in the Roman Empire. You can go back all the way through history. It's just been around where men are evil, right? Human beings are some crazy, uncontrollable species, okay? You're going to have some who have some level of control, and you're going to have some who don't know how to control themselves and they do some asinine stuff, right? But one of the things that God had to show me is, Nick, at the end of the day, it's all spiritual warfare. It's all spiritual warfare. It's all demonic attacks. A lot of people don't believe in the Bible. That's fine. You can believe in whatever you want to believe in. But I'm going to tell you something. It is what keeps my sanity, because it talks about the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. It's not just about flesh and blood. It is a spiritual warfare for your mind. Your mind is a battlefield. And if the enemy can do damage, what better way than to get into a whole population of people and create chaos and conflict? It's the easiest target, right? To create warfare. Like it is the easiest way to take a whole nation of people and push them over the edge, right? And so I began to pray and I'm like, okay, God, how do we push through this? Because you cannot ignore it. You cannot, we can't just, sometimes you want to ignore it. Sometimes you want to say, I didn't see what I saw, but we can't ignore it. And we live in a world where we have to keep our eyes open. You have to pay attention. You have to educate your kids. You have to be aware of what's going on around you. And you have to know how to freaking protect yourself. Okay. Period, point blank. You can't be no punk on this earth, right? A bunch of people want to push you around. They want to take advantage of you. You have a bunch of narcissistic people who want to gaslight you when you express how you feel because they can't understand your point of view. You got to know how to have a level of discernment, but you also have to know how to have a freaking warrior spirit to be able to protect yourself and to protect your family when it is necessary, right? But one of the things that God showed me was that what I do know about us as a people is that our level of come up game has been so strong over these last couple of years. You have more African Americans creating businesses, being able to become homeowners, getting their kids into different situations and opening up a lot of doors, right? And what greater way to kill that momentum than to keep putting in our face oppression and suppression, right? To create a level of depression, to make us begin to feel like we're not making progress. No, we're making hella progress. And I want y'all to keep pushing forward, because at the end of the day, a lot of insecure people who are intimidated by our power are the ones who react and respond in a way that they try to oppress, because they cannot suppress the brilliance that is inside of us, right? So a lot of times you're going to find yourself being confronted with situations from people who are intimidated by you, who are afraid of you, people who are overwhelmed by the power that you're walking in, by the progress that we've made despite all the opposition that we have faced. And we have to become aware of that just because we come across a few situations that look like there is a level of control over us, at the end of the day, we have the reigning power within us. And I do understand that, yes, we got a lot of work to do with government. We got a lot of work to do with people in power and politicians. We got a lot of work to do with, your local situation with your precincts and your police and all of that. But let me explain to y'all how powerful we are as a people. We have come a mighty freaking long way. And a lot of us have come from generations and generations of oppression, and we still have been able to progress and push through and make some overwhelming progress that even we look back and say, wow, how did that happen so fast? And I will tell you that the promises of God that have been on your family's life, even before all this stuff happened, is still on your family's life. You have the ability to break generational curses. You have the ability to operate in higher levels of prosperity and abundance and progression beyond anything that ever happened. And so what we can't do is get distracted by what we see in a few clips to the point where we begin to lose our power. Because here's what happens. Wherever you focus your attention on, that's what's going to grow. And if we focus our attention on the oppression and the suppression and the foolery that we see in the media, then we're going to end up getting distracted, right? And I know for a fact that the media is an instrument used for manipulation of the brain, right? A lot of this stuff is organized. It is designed to create a level of belief systems that will create a thought pattern in you. If you get a chance, go and look at the social, I can't remember what it's called, but it's on Netflix, but it's called The Social, y'all help me out here. It's on Netflix. Hey cousin, what's up, Tiff? What's the thing? It's The Social Experiment, something like that. But go on Netflix and watch that. It is talking about how social media is designed to create and control your emotions. And if you allow yourself, it's all this stuff, a lot of it is clickbait. Not saying it's not really happening, but I will promise you, if you click on one thing that controls your mood, it creates a level of fear, disappointment, oppression. Guess what? They're going to keep feeding you that to keep creating that emotion inside of you, right? All this stuff is programming, y'all. It's programming. And so if I can give you any level of insight, right? Because I had to mourn this morning. I saw that little girl, her TikTok videos are going viral. We all can just see family members inside of these different situations, right? It just hit home. It hits home. But then it also reminds me of, this is why the hell you need to be the greatest level of success and on the greatest level of come up ever, because your power is going to come from your economics. This is when we got to understand that it's not just about sitting back and being upset and being caught up in your emotions. This is about you standing in your brilliance and in your power and getting to a place where you're operating in the fullness, where you can really create change economically, where you can begin to start going into these communities to support these babies who may not necessarily have the support that they need to stay out of those different situations and those scenarios. But we cannot feed into this to the point where we get distracted, y'all. The come up has been real for many of us over the last couple of years, right? And a lot of you guys have a whole mission, a focus, a vision, a direction that you're going in. and you're very clear about who you are and what you're called to do, and you are going in that direction. But let me tell you something. Any which way the enemy can distract you to knock you off track, he will. Anytime he can get you to lose focus and just look to the right real quick, or look to the left real quick, and begin to get discouraged because of something that you see, and now your energy is going over here instead of going here, and all the people who would have been impacted if you would have stayed focused, now they're no longer going to be able to get impacted because you're so tuned in over here to the distractions and the disruption and the oppression and the suppression. If he can get you to go here, he knows how many more people are going to lose out up here, right? But from you're able to stay focused. So what we got to do, y'all, stay focused, stay in the race, keep pressing forward, keep moving forward, and understand this. This is not our home, all right? Your earth is not our home. This is a temporary location that all of us were planted here for a divine purpose and a specific assignment. We're not going to be here forever. None of us going to be here forever. Death is a part of life, right? So we got to understand that we all have a day in which we're going to leave this planet. But the question mark is, what are you doing in the dash? What are you doing from the day you were born to the day you are going to get up out of here? And understand that you are here for a specific divine assignment. You are strategically planted here for such a time as this. And no matter what's going on around us, your mission, your vision, your assignment is still your assignment. Everything, your resources, everything you need is still before you for you to do what it is that you're called to do and accomplish what it is that you're called to accomplish. So don't get caught up in the manipulation of what you see by man who is intimidated by your brilliance and divine. They want to they want to throw you off. They want to destroy your destiny. They want to remove you from your ability to operate in who you were called to be. So I need y'all to understand this. Don't let your emotions become a whirlwind of distraction, because we can allow that to become our own self-sabotage. I was sitting in that sauna and I was like, okay, Nick, you got two choices. You can wallow in this, or you can pray about it and you can move on. Because at the end of the day, my emotional state does not change the circumstances. What changes the circumstances is what I am aware of that I need to do as a person to create some change that is going to create and produce impact for my community and for my people. What can I do differently that when these scenarios pop up, I'm able to be front and center and actively involved, because I have the resources and the wherewithal to be able to be a part of something that is going to create change and not just be an emotional wreck praying for change. Let me explain something to y'all about prayer. Prayer is the start of a thing, but your works is the end of the prayer. That is the production of the prayer, right? It's like you can pray all you want, but faith without works is dead. If you are not moving your feet, if you are not putting your hands to the plow, if you are not being actively present and engaged in a way that's going to formulate change, it is not going to produce anything. I don't care how many prayers you pray. Yes, we're praying for things to transform and things to change, but you need people in position to create that change. So what I want to encourage y'all to do is get back to work. Do what you are assigned to do. Stay and operate in the fullness of your brilliance, of your power, of your assignment. Show up for what it is that you need to do. Don't wallow in your emotions. Mourn. Have your period of release where you get it out of you. You deal with the pain that's inside of you. You confront the emotion. And then you say, all right, God, tears gone. I'm ready to get back to work as a warrior on the front lines, asking, what are my marching orders for today? Where are you going to plant me? Where are you going to position me? Who do you need me to touch? What assignment do you need me to fulfill? What do I need to produce? What is it? What impact do I need to make? Who is it that I need to talk to? What do I have to say? Like, give me my marching orders, Lord, because I'm going to tell you guys something. God is looking for, let me tell y'all, if you go read the Bible, and this is why these folks who try to come at me with this Christian religious jargon about, God is a loving God and God is not rejoicing. God was a warrior. Right? The Bible says we didn't come to take sides. We came to take over. God called us to have dominion over all the earth. I need y'all to go look up what dominion means. Dominion, the word dominate comes from the same word source of dominion. That means that you take ownership over. That means that you are able to oversee. You are able to care for. You are able to produce in. You are able to rule over where you are. So don't stand back and be no punks sitting around here all day long hoping and wishing somebody gonna create change. No, you create change. He said you have dominion over the earth. You are called to dominate. You're not called here to take sides. You're called to take over. You are planted here to do and produce. You are given the keys to the kingdom. You are given the favor of God. He said everywhere your feet tread shall be holy ground. You shall be the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, the lender and not the borrower. You got to know how to show up. You got to know how to produce. You got to know how to take action. You got to know how to stop allowing these folks to punk you around with this media pimping that they doing. We got to stand up, y'all, and be on marching orders. That means get to work. So what's your assignment for today? Turn off the news, say your prayer, and ask God to give you your marching orders and put these suckers to work. Get to work, because we got work to do. And let me tell y'all, we making so much progress that the devil is mad. When you start seeing such a war zone being created, it's because we breaking through so many barriers that the enemy can't. He running out of tricks. He's trying to find every which way to suppress and oppress and reduce and deduct you in a way that you're going to get lost in the midst of your divine destiny. But we not doing that, y'all. We not doing that. I need y'all to make sure you keep your vision before you, and make sure that you keep your body in order. Make sure you keep your mind in order. Make sure you keep your emotions in order. Make sure that's why you got to start really getting to the gym. You got to eat right. You got to make sure you get up in the morning and read your word. You got to begin to develop the necessary disciplines, because we are the warriors here, called to create major change. We are kingdom kids. We are here planted on the earth for divine destiny. So we don't have time to play games. We don't have time to sit around and just Netflix and chill. We got to get to work. So that's my mission for y'all today. That's what's going on with this spiritual warfare. Don't be no punks sitting around being pimped by the media. They want us to be emotionally entangled as a people so that we just flatline and feel like, oh, we have no options. We're defeated. Oh my God, we have no control. We got all the control, right? We have all the ability. See, a lot of the things that you see, God already knows what the outcome is going to be. The word of God says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And when God comes through on that vengeance side, y'all, just like a guy said yesterday, if you think about the Egyptians, if you go back and that's why I love these stories, because we need some visuals, right? But when you go back and you think about when God told Moses to go tell Pharaoh to let my people go, and he told Moses, I'm going to give you everything you need, because Moses was like, I don't know what to say. I stutter. I don't have the power. I'm not able to do it. He said, I'm going to put the words in your mouth and I'm going to tell you what to do. Moses followed through on what he told him to do, and he went on ahead. And he went and told Pharaoh, let my people go. He cut a deal. Pharaoh cut a deal and let his people go. And guess what? He realized he wanted the people back. So he started chasing them. But what did God do? When the enemy got closer and closer, and it looked like there was no other option to shake Pharaoh and all the warriors that was chasing them, what did he do? Man, he parted the Red Sea, y'all. He parted the Red Sea. He let the Red Sea stay parted long enough for every single one of them to be able to, all the Israelites to get across. And when the last person crossed, the Egyptians was coming behind them. And guess what? He let the Red Sea swallow them up. You don't think God understand what it means to be able to allow the people to reap what it is that they sow? The people who do evil. You don't think evildoers gonna get what they deserve? The Bible talks about reaping what you sow, and he's gonna heap coals on their head. Y'all go read through Proverbs. He talks about it over and over and over and over again. And if you need another physical illustration for real time, go get the book Divine Revelation of Hell. That's one of my favorite books in the world. A lot of people can't manage it, but the book Divine Revelation of Hell by Catherine Baxter shows you all these different types of scenarios where people were pastors in the pulpit, but they did evil. People who were teachers and people who do all this stuff, all this little racist stuff that we seeing, all these folks who think they getting away with positions of power. Oh, baby, it's a whole nother field day in a lake of fire for these jokers. And I want you to understand the level of vengeance that God operates from is one that we can't even conceive with the brain. God does not allow these things to just keep going and happening, and there is no consequence to what it is that they do. We may not see it, we may not understand it, but it is not up for us to sit around and wait for it to happen. That's why you operate from a level of faith. Say, God, I trust you. Lord, I believe. Help me in my unbelief. I'm going to put it in your hands. I'm going to operate in what you've called me to do, and I'm going to keep on moving in this mission that you called me an assignment to do, and I'm going to fulfill the destiny that you've planted me on the earth to fulfill. And everything else that got to be dealt with, I'm going to let you deal with it. But guess what? It doesn't mean that we don't not pay attention to what's happening. We're very aware. We see what's going on. We understand that a lot of this stuff look like people getting away with stuff. But just like yesterday with Chauvin, he couldn't understand why his white privilege didn't get him out of this. He was just looking around like, me? Guilty? No, that doesn't apply to me, right? It's a start to something. It is a start to something. So anyway, y'all, get back to work. That is what I wanted to share with y'all this morning. That's the revelation that God gave me while I was sitting in that sauna today, just boohoo crying. I couldn't take the class. I'm trying to do the cardio class. They got the hip hop pumping, the girl just jamming. And I'm just boohoo crying. I'm like, I really need this cardio class, but I just didn't have it in me because I'm like, God, you're going to have to help me work through this because I can't let this stop me and block me from what you're calling me to do and where you have us planted. Y'all see all this momentum God got going with my husband and his company and everything that's happening. We have a lot of movement and momentum happening. God is showing us so many open doors. And I'm like, I know for a fact this is a distraction and I cannot allow us to get defeated from this level of spiritual and demonic attack because of an emotional entanglement. And a lot of it is designed by man through social media to take your attention away from where God wants to plant you. So if you got to fast from social media for 24 hours, 48 hours, 7 days, whatever it is that you got to do what you got to do, but get back to getting your marching orders. So that is it, y'all. I love y'all. Gotta go. I got a lot to accomplish. So y'all have a great and awesome day and share this video if you feel like it'll help some other people going through the same thing. Bye, y'all.